Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donna Maloney and Chair of the Charter Club Committee, and I'd like to call our meeting to order this Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. First item on the agenda is to establish a quorum. We have all committee members present except for Pat Bowers. Minutes from February 1st meeting. Do we have any amendments to those minutes, committee members? Hearing none, those minutes will stand as written. New business. First item, Charter Club RR&Ps. I would like to make the following statement to be included in the minutes, which I will forward electronically to Liaison as secretary today. All charter clubs must adhere to the RR&Ps, rules, regulations, and procedures for charter clubs. Subsidiaries, such as golf and bowling, originally set up as subsidiaries, have no relationship to the RR&Ps. Subsidiaries are run by the association and are open to the public. Voices of the community do not want Sun City West amenities open to the public. No club has requested to be a subsidiary under the association. A few clubs have determined it would be best for them to change their tax status and have made application to the IRS. One club obtained their requested change in tax status. Clubs desiring any change in their current tax status or chartered status should seek independent professional counsel. Association attorney has warned that a, quote, branch relationship, which is a subsidiary, would take time and could cause a possible threat to the parent 501c4 association and require legal vetting. Discussion of subsidiaries should not be part of RR&P's discussion or inclusion. That's the end of my statement. That will be part of the minutes of this committee. Moving on, committee members received the clean copy of the contract section of the RR&Ps and also independent contractor comments from Lynn Kellis for review. I would like first to call on committee member Kathy Estes, who compared the clean copy with the previous committee recommendation. Kathy.
Okay, I spent quite a bit of time in looking over the two copies that we had. What the Chartered Club Committee passed a month ago or moved forward to the Governing Board Workshop Committee. I see no substantial or material changes in the content or the intent that we passed. There obviously is some change in the format. It reads a little easier now. It flows better. There are some changes in some clarification in some of the wording that just makes it clearer for what our clubs need to do. So I'm absolutely fine with the new version. Like I say, I don't see any material change in what was presented with us now.
Thank you, Kathy. Any questions from the committee?
Donna, does that apply to part of this? The Charter Club responsibilities?
No. All righty, moving on. I received numerous responses from directors, committee members, and residents. The major concern was the independent contractor definition. The definition was created from the 20-factor test initially presented. Unfortunately, it was not an IRS document, and since 2019 has not been used. Determining independent contractors or employees depends on the facts in each case. also brought forward a definition is not in the original RR&Ps. The feedback received would support removing the definition. If the definition were removed, a change to paragraph A would be necessary. So I would like to ask committee members right now about the definition. Are we supporting the removal of the current definition that was presented to the governing board workshop? I will read the current definition as it was presented. It said, independent contractor, a person paid for providing a specific service within an identified time period, can realize either a profit or loss from service, has an investment in equipment or facilities, works for more than one entity, and offers services to the general public. Discussion from committee members. Any discussion? No discussion. Judy, do you have something?
Always.
Yes.
Where did this definition come from?
It was the initial 4 questions of the 20-fact document that was presented initially.
And a club wanting to figure out that definition going forward without this being here, how would they then determine? Is it all in the RR&Ps, what they need to know about independent contractors?
Right now, we are asking if the definition should be removed.
I know.
And if it is removed, then we would make a change to paragraph A under contracts. And that would read, chartered clubs may engage independent contractors as defined by IRS, but not employees. We would then continue with, follow this link to irs.gov to ensure compliance. And Mike, if we can show that you click on the link would bring the clubs directly to irs.gov. And it is.
Yep.
Okay, it will then. Okay, I thought we had fixed that. It is working? Okay, in board docs, but not here. And so, again, it would say, follow this link to irs.gov to ensure compliance. And we would also add independent professional counsel is recommended for questions. And that would be what is being recommended per the feedback that I received, which was a number of feedbacks from different individuals. So again, I think the first question for the committee to have consensus on is, should we remove the definition in the RR&Ps? And again, it would be a club responsibility to make sure that they did their appropriate research, going to the link to irs.gov, and if they cannot understand that, then they would seek their own individual professional counsel. Liaison, yes.
So each individual club then, if there's any legal ramifications for each of the clubs, if their interpretation of that's their own legal ramification, has no feet and has no impact on this committee or on Sun City West largely. All the responsibility for this is on the club.
Correct. Clubs are independent entities and responsible for any actions.
No, I just wanted to make that clear, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Donna?
Karen.
I think removing this would be good in the fact that you're directing them to a link that you know is always going to be current. So if they make changes that we're not aware of, the day they decided to go look at that link, they know they're current right then and there.
Amen. We have a comment from the audience. May I first ask if there are any other comments from the, and Carol would like to say something.
I think we need to remove it because we're going round and round and round, and I don't know that there is a perfect solution to this. So I think it makes the most sense to let the clubs decide this for themselves.
I agree, especially since all of our craft clubs are very different.
Yeah.
All righty, so John, if you would like to say something at the mic.
John Christensen. Just
Your red card numbered.
1358182.
Thank you.
So you indicate the IRS's definition of independent contractor, but not employees. So my first question is the word employee also the IRS's definition of employee? They're both IRS's. Okay.
IRS compares in trying to
No,
make a determination.
I'm very familiar. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was an independent contractor in Chicago for over 20 years, and I hired independent contractors, and I have my own opinions about the guidelines, and I could just tell you real briefly, for the same thing I did, a sound engineer, video engineer for all that time, based on the guidelines. On Monday, I could be an independent contractor. On Tuesday, I could be an employee according to the definitions. The definitions are, they're written to force everyone to be an employee for the most part so that people pay taxes. So it's not a fair thing, however you guys want to tackle it. But I mean, asking regular people to kind of answer those questions, or especially all 20 of them, it's kind of going to be a mixed bag. But I understand it's not an easy thing, and you have to find a way to write it and give guidance. But
Again, that's why we have added independent professional counsel is recommended for questions. Thank you, John. All righty, I see no one else coming up to the mic, and I would like to move forward with, first of all, by consensus, should the recommended definition be removed? And I would like to reiterate the recommended changes to paragraph A to be forwarded to the governing board. And I will read paragraph A, the recommended change. Chartered clubs may engage independent contractors as defined by IRS, but not employees. Follow this link to irs.gov to ensure compliance, and independent professional counsel is recommended for questions. Again, I will read the consensus that is needed by the committee. By consensus, should the recommended definition be removed and the recommended changes to paragraph A be forwarded to the governing board? Mary Kay? Judy?
Yes.
Kathy? Lyanne?
Just to be sure, we're removing B through C,
No, we are just making a change to A.
leaving B.
Everything else remains the same. Yes, Karen? Carol? Joel? Otto? By unanimous consent, we will move those changes forwarded to the governing board. Next item that I would like to discuss is part of the recommendations that were received. Donations was addressed for feedback. And I would like to say the association attorney was asked if club member instructors may receive voluntary donations, and the reply was yes. A recommended change to paragraph C would be to add per club bylaws. And I would like to read that, and it says, club member instructors who do not qualify as an independent contractor may not receive payment for services. These volunteer instructors may receive donations directly from club members, but not through the club per club bylaws. So the only change to that paragraph would be to add the words per club bylaws. And that was to add that because not all clubs have to accept donations. Some clubs, they just want to volunteer, they don't need donations or whatever. But it would be per club, it would be individual club decisions. So discussion from the committee. Any discussion? Discussion from the audience? No discussion. All righty, I would like to then take by consensus, should recommendation to paragraph 3C be forwarded to the governing board? We'll start with you, Otto. Joel? Carol? Karen? Lyanne? Kathy? Mary Kay? Thank you. By unanimous consent, the change to paragraph 3 will be moved forward to the governing board. Thank you, everyone. Moving on. Clubs promoting the sale of crafts or specific craft sales is happening. It is not allowed and needs to be included in the RR&Ps. Committee members, you received a copy today at this meeting regarding a recommended change. And I would like to say that this recommended change, if approved by the committee, would be moved forward to the governing board workshop. And that change would be in Chapter 5, Operations, Roman numeral 1, Charter Club Responsibilities. And it would be to add an additional letter under clubs are responsible for, and it would state, not promoting the sale of crafts or specific craft sales. And again, we should not be promoting sales. So, discussion from committee members. Oh, look at those hands. Joel?
Donna, does that imply on-premise or any promotion off-premise?
It is any promotion of sales, whether it's on property or off property. Karen?
Okay, first, when we talk about off-property, we now have a large number of our clubs who are participating in the coming up sale down there at the Sundome, which are all being booked by clubs. So what we're saying, I mean, if we're down there with a sign that says Palo Verde Patchers, Rip and Sew Wood Shop, we're promoting sales, even though it's not on rec center property. So how would you address this?
Again, clubs should not be promoting sales. If you are an individual, that's up to the individual.
Yeah, but I mean, there, somewhere, I mean, Sundome Plaza is sort of taken over promoting it as like they're doing something for the clubs. In other words, that's who they contacted. So maybe there needs to be a discussion between, if this is adopted, between board members and some of these places to make it a little clearer, because obviously that's sort of where they're getting some of this stuff from. And that just occurred to me with the question you asked, but the main question I had was, I think this should be started with 501c7 clubs shall not, because we have clubs, and ours is one of them, that got the 501c3 designation. We can sell things now, which we just did this past weekend. So if put this in here that you can't promote it, that looks like it's talking to every club that shows up under our directory. But as clubs change their tax status, that needs to be accounted for.
Thank you, Karen. So your recommendation is to add 501c7 clubs may not promote the sale of crafts or specific craft sales.
Correct.
Thank you. Casey, do you have any input to share on that?
I mean, kind of. So these are all over the clubs right now? Does that look familiar, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you're watching and you can't see me, it's the Sundome Plaza flyer. And the very bottom, it says, "The artists and crafters are all part of the art and craft clubs in Sun City West." So I'm thought we were pretty clear about not promoting Sun City West clubs when we started this whole thing. Maybe this will help out a little bit more and clarify that. Based off of this, I'm good to have just a conversation with somebody. It's coachable, and go through that. I don't want to slap somebody on the hand by any means, but if anyone knows who is in charge of this, I'd like to just have the reach out for that person, just so we can kind of go over that kind of stuff
The
with
club
them.
presidents would have a contact person.
Obviously.
Casey, I have that person's name and phone number also.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Joel. Are there any other comments from the committee?
Is this an isolated
Karen.
incident? Or are there more of these?
So when, for example, we had a expo back in October, and there were individuals from clubs that were selling items. I was looking to see if they had the club names represented on there, and if they did, which none of them did, then I would have told them, you need to remove your club from whatever. Usually they wear a name badge. So it was also something that was kind of a conflict of interest a little bit with the organization that was putting it on. So, but I let them know, and they know now, and that won't happen again. It's just a form of communication and adding a little bit more pieces to the puzzle as we learn from all of this.
Thank you, Casey.
Any other comments from the committee?
One thing, Casey, this one that's coming up on March the 11th, that whoever it is promoting it has obviously spent money doing it. Are we going to have to yank the clubs out from that when there really wasn't any intent to break any rules or regulations? In other words, this should have been ironed out probably before this ever happened, but it doesn't seem right to just basically tube the show they've spent all this time putting together, or should we make it effective after the date of that one? Just say no more.
You're putting me on the spot.
I know, but we're going to be put on the spot when everybody was down there yesterday walking around and they're assigning spots and you're agreeing that you're going to be there and they've moved forward spending money on it. The time to have told them was
Sure. And
prior to that, especially if we were aware of it.
if Karen Justice is selling her quilts, that's one
Yeah.
thing. But when Palo Verde Patchers is selling their items, that's another.
But they're booking the tables as Palo Verde Patchers. They're
Then that-
booking the tables as
That
the
should
wood
have been
shop.
recognized.
Yeah.
One of these club presidents should have absolutely recognized that and came to me. That's the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah.
Very first.
I mean, and they didn't go out looking for it. Whoever's promoting this contacted the clubs. So it was like, this will give you an opportunity. And be honest with you, I sat in on one of those meetings, and the way it sounded was like a lot of this had already been worked out. But,
I
you
didn't-
know,
I
yeah, it
didn't
was
know.
like it's not on rec center property, which was what was being stressed, was not on rec center property, more so than what the name is you called the event, you know, so.
And just to keep kind of something in the back of your heads as 501c7s, if this is what you're going to pursue to do, you're bringing in outside income.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
going to go against you. at
No,
the
I
end
don't
of the
think we
day.
should do it, but I'm just saying in fairness to the ones that spend all the money promoting at this time, I don't know.
That's why I said this has got to just be something we're coachable with.
Yeah.
There is a very unfamiliar face right there that I'm hoping can maybe shed a little light when I asked a question and she raised her hand. So, you know, again, these are some kinks we're going to have to definitely work out. This has been a long ride for about not even quite a year. And as we all expected, there would definitely be some difficulties. So.
Seeing no other hands or hearing no other voices, we can now go to the committee or the audience.
Lynn Kellis, 129120. I just wanted to make a suggestion to what you just had on the board in front of crafts, maybe put SCW, Sun City West, so it's clear that any Sun City West crafts cannot, that would be the exclusion there. Do we have an issue if they decide to say local crafts rather than Sun City West? And along with that, I will do everything we can do from our end to stop anybody who's doing, as you would call, mass production. I'm not sure you can do that in clay, but possibly. And we are writing rules around that right now that'll cinch that down a bunch. And I have no idea, being the president there, who has even set up the tents there. I hear talk. I know some people who are going to be selling goods there, but I guess we're going to have to figure out a way to make sure that they are not, like the quilters did, that they are not using the club name. Is there some way that I can identify that to put a stop to it?
What are you doing March 11th? I'll be here. We have an event, a big event, so I'll actually be here anyways.
Okay.
It's, you know, just something we're going to have to sniff out a little bit and go try and train them to go back in the right direction.
Okay.
So
I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
I'm Sandra Forsey, club member 132439. I'm also vice president of Toiki Silver Club. Mine was to just provide a little insight as far as we were contacted by the liaison of that parking lot. Would you guys or anybody like to be a part of this vendor fair that we have March 11th? So the requirement was that we just put it out there, this is coming up at Sundome Plaza. People could sign up. People had to get their own insurance. We did it as Silver Crafters, not as Toiki Silver Club. You know, to just keep it separate. We did not get the insurance policy because that's you guys as independent. They got a policy called Silver Crafters. Is that, I mean, acceptable? We are not providing any tents, or we just were information passers.
You're my expert, Casey.
I am not sure expert is the correct word on this one. So yeah, so I know it's Toiki Silver, I mean.
But we did not use,
right.
You know, personally, I don't want more than I have to do. So it's kind of like those that want to participate, here's the person's contact, here's what they need.
Yeah.
We just.
And to Karen's point, I don't want to take away from something that's done and put work on to just take away from. So it's just going to have to be something that we are going to deal with on March 11th and do some research of our own to try and make sure it's in the right direction for the future. And making sure that the clubs, if they are being represented as, I'm just going to use Palo Verde Patchers, pretending you're a 501c7. Yeah. But, you know, if Palo Verde Patchers is there as a 501c club and you're bringing in money from the outside, that again falls back on the club if it's ever recognized. So it's just, as Bill has said, yelling from the mountain, don't do it. This, you know, we'll just remind you again as a club if it is going into your bank account as a club.
Yeah, and ours is every individual has their spot. They are responsible for their money. You know,
to my knowledge, nothing's going into the bank account of the club. I know it's not on our club. But the thing I was trying to say was when you say shall not promote, does that mean you don't tell your members, hey, there's this craft fair coming up. If you want to get a table, go talk to so-and-so? Because promoting is a very loose term.
Yeah.
You know, and there won't be any signage. I don't know about the other clubs. We have no plans for signs. In fact, right now, we've sold so much at the quilt show, it's iffy if we even do it.
Does Pora have anything to do with any of this?
No, it's the Sundome Plaza, whoever the management, the people promote that.
But does this cause any kind of conflict to them? Competition or anything? I'm throwing this
the
kind
vendors actually the people that own the stores down there that rent their stores, they actually like to have like the farmer's market or the vendor fair. They feel like it brings business to them. So they were supportive of the property owners of that parking lot. And I think just in my mind, it probably just made it simple for them. Well, let's just email clubs or whatever and let them get the word out if they have people that want to participate. I mean,
Is this inaugural or is this an annual thing?
this was the first time they've ever done it.
Okay. Again,
Which they are
coaching.
very teachable because
Sure.
she's expressed several times, we're trying to figure it out.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to work with whomever so that it's done the right way.
I do have one other question. With the Pora store, we do have people that are selling down at the Pora store. Part of what they do is they volunteer however many times a year to work in the store. When they're in the store, they might wear one of a name badge that might say Toy Key Silver. Is that a conflict?
They're volunteers.
Yeah, part of selling in the store is they agree to monitor or work in the store a day or whatever.
Yeah, they probably don't want to be wearing their.
Okay, and that would be a good thing probably
Yes.
to clarify.
So Donna, we should probably figure out a way to making sure we're communicating with the clubs on that one and liaisons.
It's a fine line because you're off property and they're representing Pora's sort of the clubs. I mean, I don't envy you.
Well, it's kind of, and we're going with this Sundome Arts and Crafts Fair too. We don't want
Yeah.
them promoting Sun City West Wood Shop,
Right.
you know, but my name's Mary Kay Vidal and I have some beautiful woodwork here. You're sitting in front of me, sorry. So that's one thing, but when you're promoting the wood shop, that's what we do not want, or whatever club that may be.
I guess as a
Represented.
club, I look at the fact as visitors go into the new Pora store, whatever, they think, oh, I could learn how to make that. So it's beneficial, I feel, as a club to increase membership aside of sales. But
Mary Kay, did you want to say something?
Well, that brings to mind that Pora, the store that they have now, are they promoting it as done by local crafters here in Sun City West? And
they
per
also
club?
sell things from Surprise and other places. It's not only Sun City West.
Okay.
See, and I was told the opposite, but.
All right, we'll get down
So-
and have a meeting with Pora and we'll find out.
That would be promoting the clubs also, so it wouldn't be much different than Sundome having the vendor fair and promoting the same clubs, selling things, even though the clubs are doing it by individuals in the club are selling them and the money isn't going through the clubs. It's still kind of like promoting the clubs in a way.
Again, we, as Sun City West community here, most of our clubs are hobby clubs, and those clubs should not be used for production of products that benefit club members financially. And so, again, with the changes that we have brought forward from the beginning tax status issue, this is another area that needs to be addressed in the RR&Ps. And so we are at the place where a change has been recommended to read 501c7 clubs may not promote the sale of crafts or specific craft sales. President Fitzsimons.
Yes, Donna, it sounds like this piece probably isn't ready to be put in yet. I think after Casey and the rest of the committee kind of ponders this, that maybe there can be better wording or more work done on it before you come forth with it. That's just just the way I'm seeing it.
All right. Then if the committee agrees, we can table this for our next Charter Club Committee meeting in April. Joel?
I just had a question. Where did the lady go? Up there. Yes. I'm just curious, did Sundome Plaza, did any of the people who were going there to exhibit, did they have to sign any document, complete a form, anything written where Sun City West Craft Clubs or the specific craft club was mentioned? Okay.
It really is an individual thing that's happening in Sundome. We were just passing along, period. You know, because somebody's going to find a farmer's market at the church to sell at or wherever else. You know, it's a difficult thing all the way around.
Donna, I think the problem is the word
Karen.
promoting. Is the word promoting? You know, like in other words, sometimes, okay, we hear Bob's is having a big sale. Somebody comes in or somebody sends it out on a newsletter or whatever, or you hear that different vendors or things that sell stuff that your club's interested in, or somebody's having an estate sale and they've got, you know, all kinds of reads and things. By passing that information on, that you could go over there and buy something, isn't really promoting anything. And what they're really doing is passing information on when they tell the club about the sale, that if you're interested, you can get a table. I mean, that's promoting a sale, but it really
Right,
isn't
but-
encouraging the club. Is there a better word we could use that would be more specific, that ties it to the club rather than the individual?
I would just like to add that clubs cannot use the club membership data to promote sales. And that's basically what we're doing. The clubs are using their membership lists, and you cannot use that information for promoting sales of any kind. All righty. I think we are ready to move past this, I believe.
One real quick, as far as our club, we didn't go through any list. We put a flyer out that he was interested, period. So we did not listen. You say?
Well, then I guess you weren't in violation of that, right?
Just to clarify, if that does get to be, that would be acceptable, if something's sitting there, we aren't using an email list to.
Again, we will table this and have further discussion at our next Charter Club Committee meeting in April. All righty. I'm ready to move on to the next item on the agenda. And the next item says officers' meetings, but I'd like to pause that and move on to liaison reports. And I'd like to start with either Kathy or Karen to give us a status report on arts and crafts. Kathy.
Well, we have 22 clubs. So I sent an email out to all the clubs. I've had responses from probably half of them. My goal was to identify what location they're in and what times and dates those clubs are open, so that we can start scheduling visits with them. We want to learn about the clubs, you know, meet as many of their officers as we can. So, like I say, we've heard from about half of them. We have, I think, 11 at Koontz, 1 at Palm Ridge, you know, 3 at R.H. Johnson, and the rest of them are at Beardsley. So they're kind of scattered all over. It'll take us a while to get to everybody, but we will.
Thank you.
But obviously, we need to pass along some of this information and get it finalized so our clubs have a working document they can work with.
Thank you. All righty. Next are cards, and that's Judy and Otto. Judy?
Here's the report we sent to Casey. Between the two of us, we contacted all the clubs that we had and did get responses from everybody. And things seem to be going quite well in most areas. 2 things that came up. One was, when can we stop doing the paper tracking of Club Direct? And the second was that updating the websites is sometimes not very easy. So those were the two big comments that I had. And then Otto did go to Tuesday Contract Bridge. Did you want to comment on that?
I think Phil and I are in progress in working with the club and answering some of the questions they have. And it's an ongoing process. And
All righty, thank you. And next will be educational, and that's Mary Kay and Carol. Who's talking? All right. Carol.
I made email contact with all of the folks. I have received back some very nice replies inviting me to come and attend and see what they're all about. And that for me has been an education because I really know very little about these clubs other than my own that I participate in. For the most part, they seem very receptive to our input, but as far as getting down to the nitty-gritty, we're a long ways away from that, from my perspective.
All righty, thank you, ladies. And moving on to fitness and dance, Liane.
I've been in email contact with everybody. I've had a response back from. Sorry. I've had email contact with everybody. I've had a response back from everyone. Had originally planned to meet people face-to-face at the officers' meeting. And so now I'm revamping and we'll set up some one-to-one with them so that I can learn more about what they do, what their issues are and stuff like that.
Thank you, Liane. Social, and Pat Bowers is the liaison for social clubs, and I understand Casey, she has reported to you, if you'd like to share.
I don't have much, but what she sent me, she has reached out to clubs, has not been too responsive from most of them. So hopefully we can try and find a good communication base off of that.
Thank you. And Joel, you have sports?
Yes, I do. Okay, I have the 12 sports clubs. The beginning of the month, I personally called the club president and then followed up with an email. I took the top 4 clubs with the highest membership, that being pickleball, softball, tennis, and the sportsman's club. Tennis, obviously, because I am a member of that club. The main thing we're working on right now is at least starting to revise our RR&Ps just a little bit. I did hear back from Craig Hone from softball, and he had nothing, pressing. The only thing he advised me of is his conversations with you, Bill, about all of the repairs that they're putting together a proposal for. Crickets from pickleball and sportsman's club. Have not heard anything. The other 8 clubs, I'll be in the process of contacting them. Casey, did a email go out to all of the clubs telling them that I am their liaison?
Excuse me. Ooh, no. And then when we go back up to the officers' meeting, I'll touch on that.
Okay.
All righty, the next item on the agenda is golf. I don't know if, Phil, you want to say something about golf?
We work everything through the golf council. We meet once a month, and all of our issues we discuss there with Pat. We meet at golf council once a month, and all the issues are pretty much talked in that between Todd, Patty, and Pat. So we keep in constant touch every month. So with golf, everything's so far good.
Thank you. And Casey, you're going to be up a while now, talking about performing arts and Charter Club update, website, and our new Charter Club of the Month.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Okay, performing arts, I met with them last month. Briefly, we kind of reformatted how the council is going to be ran. just so that they have a little bit more support from the staff. So basically, that's what that entails. And I am waiting to hear back from them so I can meet with them specifically as an officers meeting. But I'm in pretty close contact with all those presidents as we currently speak. I'll just go ahead and move on to Chartered Club update. Just kind of go over this past month, we had the car show, which was huge. They sold out all of their slots, correct, Tom? And it was a very successful event. I attended, and I would say you had some obstacles throughout the day, didn't you? With some beautiful EMT, I'm sorry, in attendance. Yeah, but it all panned out, and it worked out really well. And I know Tom and Suzanne wanted me to give a good kudos to the guys working here from RH Johnson. So I just want to kind of give them a good pat on the back. Then I know softball had their Cardiac Kids. I'm not too familiar with it, but I do know that they had that, and it's usually a successful event. Joel, did you attend that by chance? No? Okay. So I think in the future I'd like to get a little bit more information and involvement in that so that I can be a little bit more well-rounded, because it sounds like it's a great fundraiser. Is your hand up, Kay? Oh, thank you. They raised $2,500. So, and what organization does that go to? Heart Association. The Heart Association? Yes, Cardiac Kids. Okay, perfect. The Cardiac Kids. So, thank you, Kay. And then finally, we also had our quilt show that our Palo Verde Patchers put on, and I attended that as well. And I will say that I've never been so impressed of quilt making than I have seen some of those artists, if you will. I couldn't believe the contrast of colors. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to skip the website real quick because it's in front of you. But we did choose, as a committee for the Palo Verde Patchers to be the Club of the Month. They're the very first one that we have ever chose. It's something new that we're going to do on a monthly basis. So the purpose for this is to just kind of recognize all of our clubs and what they do and how they perform on a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever that may be basis. For those of you that don't know, I know that since July last year, they submitted an application to the IRS to convert into a 501c3. And I think Karen already spilled the beans earlier, but they got approved last week on Tuesday, 2/22/22, which is kind of a cool day. So congratulations to the Palo Verde Patchers for their hard work. And I just want to give them big kudos. I know Mary Kay has worked very diligently with the IRS. So if you do not know Mary Kay, she sits on this committee. If you can see her, she's in a green shirt right here. So good job, well done. And then the efforts that they put in for this was absolutely amazing. They worked very, very well with our rec center staff over there. It started last Wednesday and obviously went through Sunday. Their actual event was the 26th and 27th. A couple of photos that we were able to capture. You will see some of the ladies. There's a ladder there. There's not one on the ladder, but I know you all did a lot of work in going up and down and hanging quilts. How many total quilts were there?
There was 180 on display in the one section, and on the sales for quilts sold, Mary Kay, you tallied that up. We had a tremendous amount of product and quilts sold.
Okay.
In fact, people walking in there saw the quilts hanging where the sales were and thought they were in the quilt show. We had to direct them, no, the next room has a couple hundred more.
So as you can see, it was a job well done. I know the rec center staff, maintenance staff also helped as well to help hang and get some of those pieces put together. So job well done. The next slide is, I believe it's called your Blue Award, correct? It's what Kimber...
This was, it was the Bill Income, and it was the Manager's Award.
Yes, it's the Manager's Award. And then this is a brand new member of theirs that was chosen by the rec centers, and she had a ram that was unbelievable. I still can't get over it. but this is the piece that was actually chosen to win. So congratulations. She's only been a member for 6 months. Is that what I heard?
Something like that, yeah. It's been less than a year.
Since August. So congratulations. So job well done. I'm happy to recognize you as the very first club of the month. So congratulations to the Palo Verde Patchers. Okay, so we'll go to the website. We'll jump back. And Mike is going to be navigating while I kind of speak, so bear with us a little bit. So the front page, or the home page, if you will always have the club of the month. So you can see we've already have Palo Verde Patchers on there. I do want to say that we'll always have a description. I do want to add more to your description, Karen and Mary Kay, so I'll get with you so we can add a little bit more information with numbers and specifics, okay? But this is what it'll look like from this point on. In the past, I think it had a very old picture that just needed to be updated. So we are cleaning this up and making it a little bit more modern. So you will see on the bottom, we have Sun City West Chartered Clubs. It's just kind of a slideshow. So if you have any good photos that you want to put in here from any club event that you may attend as a committee, or club members, presidents, officers, please do not hesitate. You can send them my way, and I will send those off to IT to have those added, okay? If you can scroll up, you'll see to the right there's an information piece, and you will see that there are 4 rec centers. So we have linked each rec center, if you can click that, Mike, and it will take you to kind of an overhead shot of the specific rec center and which clubs utilize the areas there. So hopefully it just helps, if anybody has an interest in a club, they can see where they meet. So hopefully this helps a little bit. And keep in mind, we are trying to keep this less is more right now, and we will continue to modify and add if needed. So, okay. So moving on, you will see we have a club directory. We have chartered clubs, and then we have the non-chartered clubs. It is set up kind of the way you would see it currently. We will modify that so it matches a little bit more, but this is what you will see. And then the non-charter clubs have that external link as well, so those stayed on there. And then the documents. So the old one, you guys saw, it's not completed yet, but this is the gist of it. So you'll see the top will have the RR&Ps. It's just the link that will take you right to the RR&Ps. And then we have the treasurer's meeting presentation, which I'm going to add to the CR7 piece to the CR forms. So it was part of an appendices, this chart that we had on the CR forms. We kind of put our heads together and said that this would probably be a better definition of what our CR forms are. So they're going to be listed, obviously, 1 through 20, with the title and the due date, if there is one, and the description of what each one is. And then you will just click on the CR form itself, and then it'll open up whatever CR form that you need. So I hope this helps. We get a lot of questions as to what is this CR form? When is it due, so on and so forth. So hopefully this will clear up any questions that may happen in the future. Again, not complete, but we will have this complete. And I left out, this is not live currently. So if you do go visit our SCW clubs right now, you will not see this. You'll see the old page for right now. And then at the end, we'll come up with a date to have this live. And then you see the I want to. It's very generic, so if you have any ideas, people may want a comment form, and we can add a link onto there that'll take them right to a comment form. If you have general questions that clubs may always come up with, we can give them an informational piece based off of that, or a direct link, but it has to be club related. So it's just going to be a very generic informational piece that we'll put together for the future. Otherwise, again, the less is more right now. Any questions?
I would just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I have wanted this website to be updated for a long time. And I just am really excited that not only is it being updated, but it's really a big improvement that we're looking at. And thank you.
Good. And Michael Cohn, who works with IT, is the one that's really working with me and formatting everything. So he gets the kudos on that one.
Thank you, Michael.
Yep, it's a work in progress. So please, both of him decided we are very open on opinions or comments or anything like that. We just want this to be an easy working website. It needs to be user friendly. So anything you may have or recommend, we'll definitely look into.
Roberta, you would like to say something?
Roberta Davidson, 112762. I'm just commenting on the club portion of the website. You use Divi for the design, and those of us who are the quote content developer, I think you call us, instead of webmaster.
Content manager.
Or whatever. Still the webmaster for the boomers. The problem with Divi, if you go into WordPress, it says it's for programmers. I have a WordPress site for my business, and I don't use Divi, and it's so much easier to add things and change things than going through the Divi. So you might consider not using it. Maybe for the parts that you have control over, but the ones for the clubs, especially for ease of use, would be good to remove it. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. Any other comments from anyone? I see no one with their hand up or walking towards the mic. So we will move on. Next item on the agenda is Club Track. And Katie, if you would give us an update on Club Track.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. This has been a long time in the making and a lot of people involved in it. You can imagine with 100 or so clubs starting from scratch and trying to build something that works for everybody with as different as our clubs are. That was a challenge, and then deploying the hardware. We've got more than almost 40 pieces of equipment out there with the software running on it, doing the training for those 100 clubs and the multiple members within the clubs, and trying to get everyone streamlined and doing the same thing. It was difficult, a lot of people involved, and too many people to thank. But we're now at the point where we've got the data flowing in, and we have it flowing into something called Power BI. Power BI is an analytical tool that puts something into a visual format that's easy to make sense of, easy to view, and just at a glance you can kind of pull some meaning from it. So a huge thanks to David Gebauer from our finance team, who's the one that took it to that next level. So in the background, we're also working on doing automated reports to the individual clubs. They'll be getting Excel spreadsheets or PDFs, so they'll have their own tracking, but this is on the rec center side, a global look at all the clubs. So we'll pop right into it. This is something I think Dave's going to be able to produce on a monthly basis. The beauty of Power BI is it allows you to drill down. So the reports aren't static from month to month. So if you have a question in a particular month that you want to answer, the way he's formatted these, you could pretty much drill down to it and be able to answer that question. So very briefly on the first opening slide is these are the rosters that were given to us from the clubs. So in yellow, you see the total number of individuals on their rosters. And then in the gray area, some of them aren't active. So they may have submitted a roster to us that had an inactive person. They were not in good standing. Their number had changed. They moved out of the community or whatever. So we did clean up those rosters. We spent a lot of time going back and forth, cleaned them up. There's still a few clubs that have a few inactive people on their rosters. So moving forward, as we go through these slides, we're going to be talking about that gray number for the most part. That's the active people on all the rosters for all the clubs that we've imported. So then again, for Power BI, we can drill down on it. So on this area on the left, Dave's got all the different clubs outlined, and we can say broadcast club. If I just want to look at that, now the number shrunk. It's a little confusing because the benchmarks don't change, but the numbers went from 75 to 73. If I want to look at Clay Club, 383 to 362. So at a glance, you can look at the global numbers or drill down on the individual club numbers. So then we're taking a look at that. Remember that gray number we talked about in the last chart. This is just another way of looking at that by club and ordered with the highest number at the top going down to the bottom. So if you've got a threshold of, say, 75 members for a regular club and 60 for an arts and crafts club, that they've got to maintain that membership in order to stay chartered, you can simply drop down to the bottom and find out who has dropped below that threshold. Now, just a caveat that some of the clubs are not swiping in yet. The golf clubs, for example, they'll swipe in if they have a social event in the social hall or Palm Ridge or whatnot, but we track their usage in Totally Golf on the tee sheet. So they're not checking into this system as well when they're out there golfing. So this doesn't capture all the data. So there's some of these on the bottom you may see that aren't being captured. Just keep in mind, not everybody's got a computer out there in the middle of the dog park or in the middle of the golf course. But it's just a very nice visual to start taking a look at, okay, how many clubs do we have in the risk area down there? Okay. So now that is the total number of members on the roster. If we look at the next slide, this is going to be the total number of check-ins. So of all the active members that were in that club, how many times did they check in to their facility or any facility in the month of January? And again, sorted top to bottom, pickleball's at the top, Clay Club, etc. Scrolls all the way down. Again, we wouldn't expect some of these to check in. Softball doesn't have a computer out there. Broadcast Club, we're getting one for them. And the golf folks are not checking in via that. Now we get even more detail as we look at the distinct member IDs. So those clubs that were on the top on some of the earlier slides, because they have a sheer just high number of members, how many of those members are actually using a facility? So it's different from being on a roster versus walking through a door, right? So the order of who's the high-end users here may be shifting. And it dropped down drastically. Pickleball is the highest one with 710 individual people who checked into pickleball during the month of January, as opposed to their roster showed maybe 1,400 people or 1,200, whatever it was. So now we're getting more data on actual usage, and that'll be a little more meaningful when we talk about space utilization. And again, down here, cyclists, you know, unless they have a social event, you're not going to see them check in. So this one is all of those three measurements in one spot. So at a glance, it's really easy to see how many active members, how many total unique people checked in, and how many times did they check in. So who's your high-end users all the way down to who's your low-end users. And if you wanted to drill down to just one club, you can do that. So it depends on what question. If someone came to Casey with a question about a club, she can look at it globally or she can drill down on a specific club. Now this is going to be check-ins by day. You'll see at the very bottom, I've got it, Dave's got it labeled Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it just gives you a quick glance. What's our busiest days? What's our weakest days? Sunday, as you would expect, is not really busy. But now let's say I want to see how busy are we at 9 in the morning. So we've got the little clicker down here at 9 a.m. Those numbers will change. So we see how busy we are at 9 a.m. versus, say, 6 p.m. And let's say I want to see for the art club at 6 p.m. Drill down even further. So 5 people checked in, and it was 5 unique individuals. So again, if you have a question about a specific club, they say, gosh, we're super busy at 6 p.m., you can drill down and see how many actual people are checking in for that club at 6 p.m. on that day. So this is the same type of slide, but we've got it broken down by time of day as the basis. So just at a glance, you can see how busy you are. 8 and 9 a.m. is going to be the busiest time of day, and then you would check on or off if you want to look at just a specific day of the week. So just another alternative way of looking at it, and you can always click on the individual clubs over here to the left. If we wanted to see how busy the social hall is at 9 a.m., they could just click on those individual clubs that use the whole social hall at 9 a.m. on a specific day. Again, another just graphical representation of those three pieces of data: how many total members, how many active members, and how many total check-ins. This percentage down here, about 25% of all the people on all the rosters, only about 25% of them are active. So again, we're not including golf and some of those other ones that are not using Club Track, but that's still only about a quarter of the people on the rosters are using the clubs in January, which is theoretically a pretty busy time of day. Those individuals checked in an average of 5.6 times. So they may have gone to one club here, another club here, and then maybe back to the same club, but in that given month, they did 5 activities in these clubs. And then lastly, this is kind of that same information, just displayed in another manner with it sorted by clubs, so you can look at a glance, how active are the individual clubs. Art Club here at 87%, 87% of the people on their roster are using that club within the month of January. So pretty specific, as opposed to some of the other ones, much lower. Agricultural, they may not be checking in out there unless they have a social event in the social hall or something like that. Canine Companions, again, we don't have a computer out there due to network issues. So just a lot of really good data. It's not something you would look at necessarily every month because maybe a couple of slides are meaningful to you every month, but the ability to drill down when you have a specific question about a facility, about a usage, staffing, facility hours, maybe we don't need the buildings open as late and we can drill down at that last hour of the day and see how busy they are. So that's where we're at right now, and if there's any questions, we're happy to answer those. Dave is here as well, or if there's any additional slides or a different portrayal of this data you'd like to see, we're happy to talk about that as well.
That was really impressive, Katie.
Well, thank Dave.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Karen, you have a...
Do you compare these with the statistics that you get when you actually have checked in with your club membership badge if you're using computers to see if they coincide? Because it's not infrequent in our club for where our membership badge check-in computer works, but this one doesn't.
So you're saying the club has its own software?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay, so you would open a ticket with us to let us know that this program is not working.
Yeah, I mean, we have a few people, unfortunately, for Mary Kay, she's one of them that they call and say, can you come over and get it working or that, but, and then we try to get them to go back and recheck in, but it does, she can attest, happen that it'll be going along and then all of a sudden people come in and it's not working anymore.
Yeah, my guess is it's a training issue. It's as simple as the focus of where the cursor is. If you move it outside of that box, the focus is missing, and so they scan and it doesn't know where to put that data that is scanning.
Yeah.
So just click on the box and it should be working
Okay,
again.
yeah, that sounds
But
good.
it's probably a training issue, and no, we do not compare the two numbers.
Yeah.
So this is the official number as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
And this is a number we'll look at and compare year to year to year going forward. So if this is not working, the club needs to get it fixed, let us know, because we want those numbers in this software.
Yeah, that's why I thought you
it's
did,
important.
because, we tell them, go ahead, check into the club one, but, sometimes we have somebody that knows how to bring it back up, and other times we don't, so.
Yeah, it's just a training issue.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
Any issue or question you have about the software, you can send an email to clubtrack@suncitywest.com. That goes to a group of us, and we'll get you a response quickly. And if we need to train, if we need to fix the hardware, if we need to get you a report, we'll take
Maybe
care of
next time we have a general membership meeting, we'll ask for one of you guys to come over and we'll put the computer up and you can show us how to fix the problem.
it. Absolutely, we'll be happy to do that.
Okay, thanks, bye.
All right, any other, Kathy?
Katie, who has access to view these reports?
Just some of the folks in administration right now at this level. As far as the club reports, if you're one of the officers in your club and you want your monthly report, we're putting together a spreadsheet of email addresses, names, and position, and we're going to automate those monthly reports to the club officers with their information. But there's not been any direction given to us from your committee or anyone that says, send all this data about all the clubs to everybody. I don't think it's something we want to share everybody's club data with every other single club, but we'll share your data with your club.
Okay, any other, Carol?
For those clubs that do not use this tracker system, is there a way to obtain this same data?
So I could probably answer that better with a specific club, if you give me the name.
Bocce Club.
So
There's a monitor station, so everyone just shows their card to the monitor and they log us in on the computer.
yeah, you should have a laptop that we issued to the bocce president that he should be, or somebody should be setting it up. And you should be using that to log in, because we did issue you a laptop specifically for this software. So check with your club officer.
It's me.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, bocce, no, I'm thinking lawn golf. Apologies. Bocce, you check in down there at Totally Golf, at the monitor station.
Yes.
And so the data would be available through Totally Golf.
Yes.
So anywhere where you check in with a paid staff member and a monitor, that data is available through Totally Golf, so we didn't want to be redundant.
Okay. All right.
You did nothing wrong, Carol.
Okay.
You're good, I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the committee? All right, then we'll hear from the audience. Lynn?
129120, Lynn Kellis. First off, I just want to say thank you, guys. It's really appreciated, all the hard work you're doing through IT. Our club track system has been working very well, and we're looking forward to the new reports. Do you have a timeline that these will be available?
So again, this particular format will not be available to individual clubs. As far as the auto reporting that sends you an Excel spreadsheet, we are behind on that. I apologize. COVID's hitting everybody hard. I was hoping to have them this week. I would say give us 2 more weeks at the outside and we'll have those ready.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other comments? All righty. We will move on. The next item on the agenda, I'd like to remind the committee. Oh, I'm sorry, Judy.
When can we stop keeping the hard copy of our check-ins?
So that's up to Casey. It's not an IT question. I will say, though, one trend we have noticed in here is some clubs, like let's say I drill down to a specific club at a specific time, we're seeing some clubs have say 50 unique IDs and 200 swipes, which means they're either gaming the system and trying to swipe 4 times per member, or they're coming back and signing in guests who aren't necessarily legitimate guests. Maybe they're students in a class. So Casey will be working with the clubs to get that training cleaned up and what you should do when you have an outside guest, when you have an inside guest, and what you should do on the reporting. So that's kind of her decision on when you can stop doing your other reports.
Is that for card clubs? They shouldn't be doing CR4s anymore. They should all be just checking in. They don't need to do that.
That was the right answer, Casey. All righty. I guess we have another audience comment.
I'm sorry, 129120. I'm just wondering, Katie, when we initially started with Club Track, we were told if you come in the club in the morning, you leave for lunch or something, you come back in, you swipe it a second time. And also when we've had people who are bringing a guest in, they've signed in and then gone on by and said, oh, shoot, I forgot to do my guest. So they're signing in again to add their guest.
Yeah, and that's fine, and that is the way we trained, but there's some, when we drill down, it's kind of obvious that they're swiping many, many, many times. And if they're having 5 guests per person in a 1-hour time, and they're not all arriving at the same time, that tells me it's more of a class situation where they should be putting on the external roster that Phil's got.
Right, I don't think that's
probably not.
ours
Yeah,
at all.
it's fine.
Okay.
If you have a guest and you sign in, and then an hour later you have another guest and you sign again, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All righty, I missed you, Casey. We need a report from you on the officers' meetings,
Yes.
please. Thank you.
Can we go to that slide that, it's 3.02? Okay, so I originally planned on having the in-person officers meeting March 23rd and 24th. Well, I have received a lot of officers that cannot attend. And then I also, it's in conflict with a board meeting that's going on. So what we are going to do is we are going to do what is kind of like a live PowerPoint. So I'm putting together each category, their own PowerPoint. So for example, I have sports almost done, so I'm gonna call Joel in and go over that with him and make sure we're all on the same page. I will also see if we can do kind of a quick synopsis of each of you so you can introduce yourself, because your clubs that are that category will be able to see who their liaison is by face. So I hope you're not camera shy. This is something we were gonna probably never do in the spring again. For me, it just did not make sense to go over everything when you're halfway through your busy season. So for the future, my plan is January only. We will do an in-person officers meeting, and that will be in regards to usually all the new officers and current officers. But this way, we're not collecting all the officers that are leaving, which we all know do not do their due diligence of handing over the torch. And if you have been an officer, you know you've been in that position. And then in addition to the new, we want all the right information getting to the officers. So when they're new, we will start doing this as you jump into your role. So I hope that makes a lot more sense in the future. This will be a good piggyback to go off of. And again, we will also try and just make sure that you know who your liaison is. So if you have any questions, any general questions, you can refer to them. Any questions?
Is the March 23rd been canceled?
Yes. Yes. And then you will see at the bottom, I have each category will have a secret word in the PowerPoint that you will need to let Dory know that you've watched it. So I'm sneaky sometimes. Sorry.
I just am very impressed, Casey. I feel like we are taking giant steps into the future. We are leaving the old school and moving into the new school. And I thank you for that.
Thanks.
Any other comments from the committee? All righty. Then I'd like to remind the committee that there's a committee appreciation mix and mingle event, and I am anticipating everyone will be in attendance. That's Wednesday, March 30th, from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Kuntz Stardust Theater Courtyard. And that would be all the items on the agenda, and I'm now looking for comments from the committee. No comments? Nobody even wants to say great job? I think we did a great job. And any comments from the audience? All right, then any comments from outside? No comments. All right. Next meeting date is April 5th, 1:30, again in the lecture hall. I thank everyone for coming, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.